Hey everyone, it's Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. This is the second video today. It is August, oh, you know what? It's my son's, it's the 18th because it's right in the middle of two of my son's birthdays. So I can remember when I did my update video earlier today what the date was. So today I wanted to do a sampler, finish, FFO, whip, and stash parade. And I was inspired by Julie from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. After I shot my first video today, I had to run to the grocery store and I've got stuff in the oven, and then I was trying to mess with my new tablet and figure out how to reverse the images because my first video things were backwards and it took a while to find that. And just as I found out, I reached back and yeah, I knocked this red wine onto some stuff. Like, ah! So I did have one sampler that was affected. I think it'll be okay. I doused it in water. It was on a lakeside linen, but it was around the edges. And it's the innocent sampler. It's no longer innocent, but I think it might be okay. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to start by just showing you some of the samplers that I've finished. And I have a lot of samplers. I mean, that's the stash that I pulled for today, for this video. And sorry, my chair squeaks, but I have really just gotten into samplers the last few years, and I have an affinity for them. I love them. So sometimes samplers have alphabets, sometimes they don't. A lot of times they're motifs that are just stitched in sometimes it's a predictable order and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's Quakers, and a lot of times in the olden days there were young girls who were learning how to stitch as part of their skill set. So I thought I'd just show you some things. When I get to my stash, I'm not going to show you Blackbird designs. I have quite a few of those, but everything they do is really very sampler oriented, and a lot of Brenda Gervais and Plum Street are as well, so I'm not going to pull those. I'm really wanting to just show you some of the more traditional samplers that oftentimes have borders, motifs, alphabets. So let's just start with some finishes. This is a Blackbird finish. This is from the book Joyeux Noel. And this is stitched on Silvery Moon. It's 40 count, and I framed this myself. So it's not perfect. The spacing is pretty good though, for whatever, less than $20. This is hanging on my new sampler wall that I'm building. And when I get a decent amount of samplers on there, I'll show you what it looks like. This one is Joyeux Noel. I can't speak French. I don't know. And here's one. This is a Brenda Gervais, Autumn's Fruitful Labor. This is stitched on 40 count fresco by Picture This Plus. And this was a lot of fun to stitch. And I really love the frame on this. So it's very different than what you might pick, like probably a brown would have looked great, or even a gray would look good too, but this is sort of unexpected. And it's pretty, it's pretty thin, but I love this one. Hers are a lot of fun to stitch. So I told you I'm not going to show you Brenda Gervais, I'm not going to show you Blackbird, and guess what I'm showing you? Blackbird and Brenda Gervais. This one is It's Berry Time. There is an alphabet on here. It's made into sort of a longish pillow that sits on a cubby in my room. This has a couple of strawberries that are stitched. I just need to finish them, and I'm going to restuff this and put sawdust in it. It has polyfill, which is okay. It's a little bit lumpy, but I really want to put the sawdust in here. So this is It's Berry Time by Blackbird Designs. This is also a Blackbird made into it came as a kit, and it's made into sort of a ditty bag. This, my understanding, was a limited edition kit at market a few years ago, and I have since passed the pattern along. But this was a lot of fun to stitch and make. You can You can cinch this if you wanted to, you know, make it sort of a scrunched up bag. It hangs on one of my nails back here, and I really like the colors in that one. But Barb and Alma, they have a way with colors. This is Lila Studio, and it's Be Mine. So this is, I sewed the lace on here. It actually looks better when it's sitting on a table. And it has my initials and my husband's initials on it. And it's such a sweet, sweet little, you know, remembrance. And it has a kind of a velveteen on the back. So this one is Be Mine by Lila Studio. I'm going to show you, this is an oldie. So this was my first sampler probably that I ever stitched. This is a shepherd's bush. And I stitched one when my boys were little, and it hung in their room. I have no idea what this is called, but it has a little moon and a sailor, and it has all of the, this is actually the numbers are up above, and I'm sorry for the glare on there. This is not conservation glass. I think I framed this one. I think I had the frame made and I put it together. So that's a shepherd's bush. Shepherd's bush makes quite a few samplers too. This is Lantern Lane. I think this is Little House Needleworks maybe? Y'all have seen it. Lantern Lane. This is on 40 count. Oh, it might be Exemplar. I don't know. It's overdyed. And what I love, 40 count just makes everything look darling. This is, I mean, if you look at the scale here, it's not huge. But that house does take forever to stitch. Oops, sorry you guys, knocked you over. This is In Friendship by, I think this is Plum Street, with a strawberry from Taylor Nash, Stacy Nash's daughter. I absolutely loved stitching this. The colors are fantastic on here. And, oh, look at the strawberries. I loved it. This is just a standard store frame. I ran a black, just a ribbon at the back, hooked on one of these little, I don't know what you call those. They're what clasp the picture in there, and over the top. So that's In Friendship. This one is by E. Sabrosa Designs, and it is a Christmas sampler, I think. I made it a mother-daughter sampler, so it has my initials, my mom's initials, and my sister's initials on there. I thought about entering this one in the fair, but I was a little nervous about entering something without glass on it, because sticky fingers can touch things, and if they didn't put it in a case, it would, I don't know, I just felt a little bit concerned about it. So this one is E. Sabrosa, and she has, I have a lot of her patterns. Hers are all PDFs. Her stuff is amazing. I love it. I'm going to insert a picture of one that's on my wall. It is, I think it's Bygone Stitches, and it is Christmas Quaker 2. It's the vertical one. There's one of them is horizontal, one of them is vertical. I think this one's number 2. It was stitched on, I believe it was a 36 count over dyed fabric. It's pretty good size. It's heavy, so I'm going to go inside and shoot some video of it without taking it in here because it's just kind of heavy and bulky. It is stitched with Buckeye Scarlet and Bayberry, and they're gorgeous. So what I did though is I did not realize that I started stitching with 2 threads. I don't know why I did. I just started stitching with 2 threads, and then pretty soon I'm like, why do I not have enough thread for this project? So I ordered more thread, And then I figured out what I did, and I still didn't order enough thread, so I had to order it a third time before it was finally done. And Jill Rensel has done the framing on that, so I will insert the video here. This is the Quaker, Christmas Quaker 2 by Bygone Stitches. And Jill Rensel did the framing on it. I didn't get the museum quality glass, so it's got some reflection on it, but I do love the frame job that she did. The fabric is really actually much warmer in real life. It shows lighter than it really is in real life. But I love this. So isn't that, I love it. I leave it up all year round. I leave it all the time. So let me go ahead and pull, there's a couple back here. Hold on, please. This one is the Teresa Winkler English Garden, and it is dated 1994, but I finished it this year. It was one of my Stitch 9 challenge pieces. It does have beads all around in the border. And her stuff usually has blended threads, and I love it. It really turned out pretty, and the bath I gave it really helped a lot. I also have Snooty Parrots. This is Barbara Anna, and this one I will probably take it in and have it framed, but I'm going to have it framed without glass. And I am considering not putting glass on this one either. Haven't decided yet. We'll see. So let me go ahead and put this stuff away because I have a ton of it, and I'll pull my whips out and we'll take a look at that. Okay, so round 2, the whips. I went through my whips, and I have a lot of them, but I love them all. Well, 90% of them. I'm working on my Stitch 9. I call it eating my vegetables. Trying to get those done. English Garden was one. Snooty Parrots was one. And I have more than that. But I'm down to just 3 of the Stitch 9, and they'll get done by the end of the year. So a lot of my whips, though, are samplers. And so some of these are in their plastic. I tried to take them out, but if they aren't, they're in their plastic. But the first one is Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain by Kathy Burke. So Kathy Burke has a style all of her own. And this is, I consider this to be a sampler, even though there's not an alphabet on it. But it definitely has that motif look to it. And this is fabric that I just love. This fabric. This is 32 count. I think it's like mossy or something like that, from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. And it is, oops, sorry. It is fantastic fabric. It's a little darker than what it's showing on the TV there. That's a little bit better. It's definitely a kind of a mottled green mossy color. And I'm stitching it over 1 because this is a big sampler, and it was going to take more than a fat quarter. And I didn't want to buy another piece of it, the fabric. So, and it was going to be within a ½ inch of the edge. So I just decided to stitch it over 1. And hopefully I'll get to that one. I don't know. I don't know when I'll get to that one. Let's be honest, right? I hope to, but who knows? The next is Susanna Milne, Hands Across the Sea. I probably have 6 or 7 Hands Across the Sea patterns, of which this is the only one I've even started. I love it. It's beautiful. And it's stitched on a powder pink, a Zweigart. I think it's just called powder pink. The green and the yellow look fantastic on the pink. We're going to start to lose some color, you guys. It's late in the day. Susanna Milne, Long Dog Samplers. The Love of Two Hearts. This is my sampler with my husband. I call it our wedding sampler. Here's the colors. And this is my part of my next 9 challenge. This will not take that long at all to do. And the colors, look at the colors on that. Aren't they fantastic? Colors on the thread keep and on the actual design. This is stitched on 40 count sampler gold by Color and Cotton. I saw this on Instagram and I reached out to her and I said, can I get half of that? Because it's a great sampler color. Awesome sampler color. There's that. So many things, you guys. So much. The next is English Garnet. Sampler's Not Forgotten. I have decided I love her stuff. I really love it. And I'm going to search for more of her patterns. English Garden. This is stitched on 40 count vintage tundra. It's a great fabric for this design. It has a thread keep by LaDonna Samplings. What's her business called? Samplings of Memories? Is that right? Is that LaDonna? I'm sorry if I got that wrong. It's a DMC. It's really pretty. These colors are great. And they're great on the vintage tundra. It's sort of a greenish blue. It's like DMC 928 would be my guess if I had to pick a DMC color. All right. Clearing my desk here. The next one is the Blue Flower, When Lilacs Bloomed. And this came out at Market this year. I'm stitching this one on Vintage Lilac by, well, it's vintage, so it's got to be Lakeside. Gosh! And it's not showing lilac much in your picture, but it's pretty. It's a pretty lilac color. Here are the colors that go with it. It's going to be stunning on this fabric. So pretty. Yeah, it's so purpley in real life, and it's just completely washed out on the video. The next one is You're a Grand Old Flag by Sampler's Not Forgotten. I picked this up at Spring Green, and it is stitched on 40 count, 36 count vintage pearl barley, I believe. And it's being stitched with Belle Soie, primarily Belle Soie silks. So you can see those. We got those out of the clearance room. And isn't that border gorgeous? I love it. And the way I'm stitching it, it's just shaded from darker to lighter. I remember when I was working on this, I didn't want to put it down. It is so pretty. It's this design is, of course, it's a red house, right? And it's the alphabet, and what a great building. So I love stitching patriotic. I have a lot of patriotic designs with red houses, blue houses. Yep. All right, the next one is, what is this one called? Peaceful Garden, I believe. Moira Blackburn. And this one's stitched in DMC, and I converted it to overdye cottons. And this is being stitched on platinum. I think this is 40 count platinum. Now this one seems like it should go pretty quickly, but there's a lot of stitching. This is a pretty good size piece. It'll take up most of this fat quarter. Look at that little birdhouse, and it's cute. This is going to be a fantastic piece when it's done. Lots of great colors. If you watched my last video that I shot earlier today, I showed you, I think this was backwards on the video that I shot, but this is Vintage Tulip Design by Extra Designs. The colors are great on here. Awesome colors. Kind of a gray mottled fabric that she dyed. Maybe I'm just all into purple because I have several. I have at least 3 projects that have purple fabric or purple thread. I don't know. Excuse me. All right, the next one is Come Into My Garden by Blackbird Designs. And this is on 36 count felt with weeks threads. Now this one was sold through Spring Green Country Sampler. Isn't that great color? I need a little ring on this so you can see the colors a little better. But you could buy the kit through them. I'm sure it was a conversion because that's what they're known for. And they do a great job with that. Now this one does not have much. I don't know why I got started on this, but I think it was during Stitch Mania. And I'm stitching this one with Michelle the Striped Rose and More Mischievous Stitches. What is this? Elizabeth Mears, and with her big, huge white house. And this is how much I have done. Not too much. This is a, what is this one? This is a, looks like a coffee dyed fabric. I'm not sure. I don't think I coffee dyed this. Maybe I bought it this way. Maybe it's an R&R. It might be an R&R. All the samplers, you guys. It's Sampler-orama. Long Dog. Hoity toity. I love stitching this pattern. I love, love, love it. Love it. Love it. I don't know why it's not done yet. Those are all DMCs. Aren't those fabulous? I've seen this stitched and framed, and it was matted all the way to the edge and framed. It was gorgeous. Just gorgeous. And this is on, I would say it looks like pecan butter. And probably 40 count. Most everything is kind of my default is 40 count. Hannah Sanderson, shamefully behind on this cell. Kyle's knocked it out and it looks beautiful. This is on, I'm going to say, gosh, this is pretty. 40 count. It's not sand dune. It might be sand dune. What is this? It might be exemplar. Just vintage exemplar. But the color just pops on that so prettily. One of these days I'll get back to it. I keep telling myself that. I just need to retire. I like working. I like stitching too. Stitch 9. Christmas Garden. Blackbird Designs. And I'm going to get back to this one. This is my conversion. It's stitched on, I think it's Clay Pebble by Silk Weaver, and there are 4 silks that I'm using. Thistle Green, something gold. If I can hold it. Old Gold, Black Cherry, and a dark brown by Gloriana. These are all Glorianas. I posted on a prior video. Let me see what this brown is. Oh, please. Espresso, maybe? Oh, coffee bean. Close. But definitely it's a redder palette than Blackbird, the way they designed it. The gold is just fantastic. So is all of it, the red. And I would love to stitch some of these motifs just as pin keeps. I saved this one. So it's a dessert to stitch in the middle of all the vegetables that I'm eating this year. It's a delight to stitch it. It's really a very beautiful design. Gathering Honey for all of you 80s and 90s stitchers. This was in a magazine. I think I have the magazine. Cross Stitch Country Crafts. This is on a really lightly model fabric. I can't remember who. Dying for Stitch, or Dying for something. Facebook group. It's cute. It's cute. But wait, there's more. If you wait now, there's a set of Ginsu chopping knives. Gathering Pine Cones. This is also my next 9 challenge. And truly all I have is the specialty stitches left. And it's one of those when you sit down and do it, I bet it can do it in a day. There's a great color. I think the specialty stitches are in this. This is a Threadworks, I think. Isn't that a fantastic color? Or colors. Fantastic floss. Now, it's quite possible that I have a bag somewhere with a whip that I don't have here. So I decided to do this, but, you know, life gets in the way. Who knows what I'm missing? Summer at Holly Berry Farm. These are gorgeous, gorgeous patterns. I love them. I'm not that far on this one, but let me tell you, when I stitch this sucker's going to get done because it is an absolute pleasure to stitch. The fabric is darker than what it's showing. It is Espresso by R&R. Oh, it smells so good. And that is just beautiful. I'm not a professional thread floss shower. That's not my day job. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Makes me want to stitch it. Okay, the last whip I have to show you that is a sampler is Dale Big and Beautiful. I'm going to take this one out because you can't see it. This one's extra shiny. This is one of the most beautiful samplers I have ever seen. And it is, if you watch my last video, it is absolutely my colors. Red, green, gold. It is being stitched on 40 count patina by Lakeside. It's so pretty. And I think I'll just sit down and try and work that into a schedule where I stitch a motif a week or something like that. That's how you make headway on some of these big ones, is you have to dedicate some period of time to them. I love this. But she is big and she's beautiful, and this is on a half yard, and it's not going to take the full half yard, but I have it. I'm starting in the corner just in case. I don't know how far it's going to go. She goes, I don't think it's going to take the full fat half, but it's going to take quite a bit. I'm going to put this stuff away. And when I say that, what I really mean is I'm going to shove it on a table over that way. Then I'm going to get my stash and we're going to look at sampler stash. Okay, let's see some sampler stash. Now again, you might see a Brenda Gervais in here, but really the majority of that is not going to be in this part of the video. Maybe I'll do a Blackbird or Brenda Gervais or Plum Street stash showing sometime in the future, but not today. Okay, so this is my big toe, and it is, what's this called? Prayer of Saint Francis. And I found this thread at the attic and picked this fabric that I had in my stash, and I'm going to stitch the letters in that thread, and then I will build the rest of the colors once I start stitching that. It was too hard to pick it out to visualize what it was going to look like. The next one is Lettered Bordered Series Summer by the Sea by Just Nan. I lived 10 years on the Oregon coast where my husband grew up. Our boys were born there. And so I have an affinity for the sea. Sampler, Exemplar Dames. This is True Wisdom. This was a gift from Kyle Reckemeyer. And Julie from Reflections Framing and Stitching did a conversion for me. This is Dames of the Needle, and this is not in print any longer. But I can't wait to stitch this one. And I'm really appreciative that Kyle gifted it to me. It was very sweet of him. I've got a lot of stuff in front of me. Okay, I'm going to move this over here. And my wine disaster earlier has little residual spots on things. M. Gardner. This is with Thy Needle and Thread. Lila Studio with The Needle. Isn't that fantastic? So sweet. And look at that harbor. Awesome. Plenty and Grace, Primitive Traditions. I love this, and I can't wait to stitch it. Oh, I do have another. I'm missing a whip somewhere. This Primitive Traditions. Another one that's, I don't know where it is. If I find it, I'll show you guys. Brenda Keys, a sampler company. I love this. Kind Fawn Sampler. This one is Sweet Humility Sampler. This may be my first one that I stitch of hers. I love that one. That house is amazing. Looks like a French chateau. Susie Moose Sampler, Midsummer Night Designs. That one I found at the attic. That one I had been on the hunt for a long time. And I'm starting to kit it up with some, I don't know what fabric that is. Moira Blackburn. I love Moira Blackburn stuff. Again, I have a lot of her patterns. Look at those baskets. And that looks like, this looks like the house in Bath in England. I should say the Bath houses. I don't know. But I just look at the Jane Austen movies, and that's what they show. In His Hand, Midsummer Night Designs. Fantastic flower arrangement on that. This is the Oak, Growing Like a Tree, Moira Blackburn. This one is all the fall, y'all. Love and Beauty, Moira Blackburn. Sister Sampler. So I think I have these grouped together in my bag. That's why it's showing all of them together. Moira Blackburn. This says, "For there is no friend like a sister in calm or stormy weather, to cheer one through the tedious way, to fetch one if one goes astray, to lift one if one totters down, to strength whilst one stands." Very English. Moira Blackburn. Elizabeth Oliver Sampler. It's a cool one. This is Victoria Sampler. I have some more of hers elsewhere, but this is the heirloom Homecoming Sampler, but I'm going to just stitch this part. I'm going to stitch it in this colorway. I have the thread packed somewhere. A Scottish Love Sampler, Moira Blackburn. I think maybe I'll just have a room in my house that is Brenda Keys and Moira Blackburn. Oh, Exemplar Dames. Black Dahlia, because Olivia B. She influenced me to find that and buy it. MMEW from the Wyndham collection by Samplers and Such. MMEW 1847. That is fantastic. Let me just see if I can slip that out. I'm sorry, some of these are very, very reflective. There is a crucifix. There's a lady with a sword. This is a great. That's a great one. Need to figure out a better sorting system in this craft room, I think. The Sampler Company, Brenda Keys, Floral Sampler. Somebody just showed me this. I can't remember who it was. Was it Tara? Was this you that showed me? Or Marcy? I can't remember. But I had already spied it and bought it. Heart's Eve Exemplar Works. This is, oh, what is her name? Teresa Baird. Her stuff is amazing. So this is not reproduction samplers. These are her designs. This one is A Time Forever Gone. Holy cannoli. I thought Elizabeth Mears' White House was big. This one is huge too. And it has all of the border. It's gorgeous. Another one of hers. This is The House on the Brandywine. No, this is a Maryland inspiration. Now you might ask, how can you stitch the alphabet and red houses so much? And I don't know. I just like it. Marie Cornu, Reflet de Soie. Look at the moth on that one's awesome. And then the horse. And the cursive alphabet, because that's what I like. Circle a Friend Sampler by the Sampler Works. Sally Ann Designs, Home for the Holiday Sampler. This is, she's still, I think, in business selling, if I remember. Well, City Sampler is, and I have one that looks similar, so Google her. An American Sampler by Barbara and Cheryl. Huh. Barbara and Cheryl. Isn't this neat? I saw this when Lila Studio came out with the other big patriotic sampler. It's in the stash here. What's that called? I don't remember. But this is sort of the reminiscent of that. So this is the Scarlet Letter, Betsy Adams. That is an amazing, amazing reproduction. This chart is completely hand-drawn, and it's not that it can't be stitched. It's just going to be challenging to read it, and I'm going to have to sit down and pay close attention when I do stitch it. But I do plan on stitching it because that road sampler is totally my jam. I'm buzzing right along here. Papillion Creations, Ring of Roses. That's pretty gorgeous, isn't it? Queenstown Sampler, Elizabeth Powell, 1819. Friendship Sampler, Hillside Samplings. I hope I'm not going too fast for you guys. Strawberry Band Sampler, Hillside Samplings. Now I have that, but I don't have the button that goes in the middle. I wonder if you can still get that. I don't have a... See if it has a copyright. Oh, 1997. Probably not. I'll have to find something else to put there. So this one is beautiful. Samplers Remembered, Village Square Sampler. And I might only stitch the inside box of this. And I'm sorry, I can't get this little thing to, I don't know if it's focused enough for you. We'll see. Louisa Horsey by Shakespeare's Peddler. Now this is a memorial sampler, and I looked at it and thought maybe I would convert it. And maybe, I don't know, that urn at the top definitely feels like a memorial. And it's the passing of a child too, so it makes it twice as kind of sad, right? But that's a fantastic sampler. It's beautiful. Over 1 in 40 count will probably kill me. Savior's Praise, about 100 of you are stitching this right now, at least. And why not? Because it's fantastic. Shakespeare's Peddler. Now, I have some sampler stockings to show you. These are all Carriage House or Kathy Barrett. This one came out at market this year. The Ocean Blue stocking. Isn't that not amazing? And I love the shape of the toe on this. It's awesome. Carriage House sampler stocking. The bird and the people. And then look at the sort of pastoral scenes in several levels. It's like, I don't know what it is. Beautiful. Truth and Virtue stocking, also Carriage House. Very sampler-like. All the alphabets, all the houses. All right, Hearts and Flowers, Carriage House. This, I bet you could stitch this really quick. Because, I mean, when I say quick, you could have it done probably in a week. There is some solid stitching here, here, and here. So it depends on how much free time you have, but I bet this is just really pretty done in person. And then A Virtuous Woman stocking by Carriage House. I just need to stitch all the stockings and hang them. Apparently I have a thing for it. Kathy Barrett Autumn Harvest sampler. This was published in a magazine and then was released by Kathy. GGR, Labelle Letters de Gigi. This is the S's for Smith. And it's red, and it's sort of that French general feel to it. So, yes, please. I might have to hold that one out and start that one. The Rose Sampler by Pat Rogers. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Let Freedom Ring. That's the one I was thinking of earlier by Lila Studio. Lots of people have done that one. I want to say, is it Ginger Gerald did this one? I can't remember. This is Vermilion. Oh, Donna Vermilion Giampa. She has passed away, and apparently her sister is selling these patterns. Victorian Alphabet. I don't know if I'll ever stitch this one. There's just so much back stitching on every single motif. Another Patriotic Let Freedom Ring cross point designs. I like that one. If you ask me to go back and find these, I don't know, you guys. I'm trying to give you the name and the designer name. Threadwork Primitives, Painted Threads Heirloom Sampler Club. I believe this was released as a pattern only, but this is a kit that came in a club that I was a part of. Threadwork Primitives, A Wandering Heart. Pretty. And then for Threadwork Primitives, Holiday Patchwork. And this is adorable. I would finish this just like this. Well, we live in an area where there's so many evergreens. There's cedar, there's hemlock, there's Doug fir, lots of Doug fir. There are some pine. There's holly that grows wild here. And so at the holidays, I love to cut fresh greens and put them in the house. It smells so good. But really, I can put it around the 1st of December and it lasts quite a while. But by Christmas, when I start to take stuff down, after Christmas, it all has to come down because it's kindling. It's dried out pretty well. Long Dog, Heirloom Edition Renaissance. I think about stitching this one on the color combination that they have actually stitched this on. I would love to stitch it that way. And I love reds, so Scarlet Ribbons. So pretty. And then the Token by Long Dog. It all kind of looks the same, doesn't it? But it's not. Stitched on different fabric, different threads. Definitely looks different. Rosewood Manor, Quaker Diamonds. I started this in the 90s and I used substitutions and I really just hated how it looked. So I have seen Handwork Maniac. I think Brenda's worked on this one. Other people have as well, and I'm just going to stitch it in the cog 4 or close. Acorns All Around, Rosewood Manor. Look at that. Is that not adorable? Super cute. Rosewood Manor As You Sow. This says, all the flowers of tomorrow are in the seeds of today. Now, I probably would substitute some colors on this because I like a little more contrast. And then Rosewood Manor Weeping Willow Welcome. And I picked this one up at Sampler Green at Country Sampler. Spring Green Country Sampler. It's getting late in the day. I saw this stitched up. It's really beautiful. And you could do 2 separate or you could do just all in one. Primitive Traditions, a Petite Housewife, Quaker Pocket Needlefuls. So sometimes a sampler is framed. Sometimes it's a housewife or a needle roll or a needle book or any other sewing accoutrement. But isn't that beautiful? I can't wait to stitch that one. And then Primitive Traditions, Goodwill to All, Love to One, Friendship to Many, Goodwill to All. This one comes up on eBay every once in a while. That's pretty much solid stitching, but it sort of looks like Charles Wysocki. If you ask me, Plum Street Samplers, Birdie Mae Sampler. And then the Sweetheart Tree, Quaker Floral Sampler. Isn't that pretty? That is Belle Soie, Chester's Blue, and DMC Deep Teal. And then there's some buttons on there too, I guess. This is the Marking Sampler, Ackworth School, L. Haworth. Now look at how pretty that is with a pop of red. All of that kind of neutral goldish color with a little bit of red. You could completely stitch this in not monochromatic. I mean, you could stitch it as a, like that swan. You could stitch the swan black or white. Yeah, you could do a lot with that one. My Big Toe, Quaker Harmony. Isn't that pretty? So I need to, I don't know what I'm going to do with all this stuff. If I stitched all of it, I wouldn't have enough room in my house. Oh, here's another stocking, Quaker stocking, because Vonna made me do this one. She won the Queen of the Fair. She won Best of Show, Grand Champion with her, I think, with one of these. And I want to say she stitched it in red and in blue. Yeah. Quaker Bluebird by Willow Hill Samplings. Now this picture, it's tough to see this on this picture because it is very dark. Quaker Virtues by Bygone Stitches. That's huge. I'm not sure if I'll stitch this one, but I might stitch some of the motifs as smalls. And then A Love Song by, what is this by? Well, it's a mystery. Who is it by? A Love Song. Oh, Four Oaks Designs. It's pretty. Ladies Pocket Needlefuls, Checkbook Keeper, or Needlebook if you're living in the new millennium. Primitive Traditions. So these float around every once in a while, Primitive Traditions do, and I absolutely love their designs. They're just not, I don't think they're on the market with new designs or new production. It's just a secondary market. Sarah Tatum, 1800 Quaker, Ackworth Quaker School, Scarlet Letter. I love Scarlet Letter. And we went to Lindsay Madison on our way from flying into Madison over to Spring Green, and she has a ton of Scarlet Letter. So I wish we had more time there, but my pocketbook is happy that we didn't. Rhapsody in Blue. Isn't this pretty? This is also that Four Oak Designs. Quaker Star Janine by Stickadine von Weinberg. That's pretty. I should wear a t-shirt that says "That's pretty." Primitive Traditions, a checkbook keeper, or a needlebook cover. That's gorgeous. Stickadine, Christmas Quaker Bellpool. I got this one off at 123 Stitch, so I'm pretty sure they still have it. And the colors, red, green, gold. Yes, please. Stitchy Box, the Beatrix Potter Quaker Sampler. This is really pretty. This is stitched with 356 or a Veriswa 4612 or Dinky Dye Peach or Pumpkin Spice. It's very pretty. Crown and Thistle. This is R&R Productions, their line. This is Quaker Seasons Purse 1. And Brenda Keys, the Contented Mind Sampler. Blow me away. Look at that. She sells, I think she's in England. Pretty sure. I've ordered directly from her. I can't remember. But she has great service. This one is the Hetty Child Sampler. The little people on her designs. She has some very good cast of characters. Let's see, what is this one? And it's not open. Well, my apologies. If you want to know, I'll open it and I'll find it, the name for you. Red House Sampler. All of hers could be called the Red House, though. Look at these people. They're so cute. And the dog next to the flowers. That border is fantastic. Providence Sampler with the two girls under the parasol wearing black dresses. Very interesting color combination. The Huntsman Sampler. Oh yeah, the hunter, he's shooting out into the middle of nowhere. He needs to go to hunter safety class. And then this one, I do love this one. Burn Little Maid. Look at the building on that one. I got a lot of stitching to do. I went to church sampler. I went to church on Sunday. My love, she passed me by. I knew her mind was changing by the roving of her eye. Scandalous. Scandalous. Red Ribbon Designs. This one. The smell of pine and crackling fire, all the snow one could desire. Hot cocoa with marshmallows, cookies in the kitchen. Treasure the gifts that winter has given. Beautiful. I think she might have an Etsy store. Blue Ribbon Designs. I have a few more, but these were more the most sampler-esque. Stitched with Love. I've stitched all of this with my love and a kiss. I guess that just is for your honey, right? And then this one is Heart of Gold. A lot of red stitches in that one. That's pile number 1. And it doesn't include a lot of my other patterns. It's shameful. Okay, Esther Edison. I want to say Carol Saltbox stitched this one. I could be wrong. I do have the threads and the fabric to go with it. All the reds, all the good reds. This should look great. So I'm excited to start that one day. One day. Blue Ribbon Sampler. This one, let me see when this is actually, it's so big it has a book. I got this from a lady on Instagram, and this was produced, let's see. I'm not sure when it was produced. It's kind of a fun book to read, though. There's a lot in here besides the actual pattern. Excuse my yawn. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm not sure when this was produced. You can go online and find out. Blue Ribbon Sampler. It's big. A couple other people wanted to stitch this with me when I started it, when I was going to start it, but I don't know when I'm going to start it. It was going to be last year, and that didn't happen. Sarah Chapel by Shakespeare's Peddler. This, though, this is going to happen this year. This is fantastic. Absolutely gorgeous. Sarah Chapel, 1831. Oh. Frances Eliza Kimber, 1876, by Victorian Rose Needle Arts. Yeah, this is really shiny, but I liked this one so much I bought it 3 times. Gave you the 2 away. Another Heart's Ease Exemplars. This is Thistle House. Melanie. Thistles. Scottish. Lucy Red Sampler by Homespun Elegance. Look at those flowers. And this, you know, I want to say this should go pretty quickly. It depends on if these are specialty stitches. They all look like they're cross stitch though. Oh, these look like there's beads up there. Samplers and Such. Rebecca Kleinsasser, 1909. A Hutterite sampler. A lot of red on this one. This calls for Versoix d'Alger. It gives the numbers. Elizabeth Haxton, 1866, the marking sampler. That's pretty. I like it. I bet this one's not that big. I'm not going to open it up and find out. Carolina House sampler. I have almost kitted this up. I can't tell you how many times. I've got the fabric, but they're silks, and there's like 20 of them. So I'm going to convert it to DMC. Biedermeier sampler. Came out this year at Market. Needlework Press. This is really pretty. That was the original. Here's the reproduction, but I think this is just the digitized copy. Scarlet House. I love this one. The colors are fantastic. Mary Betchel. I know Carol Saltbox Stitchers stitched this one. Isabella Bracken, Historic Stitches. This is in Marietta, Georgia. All the flowers. And this, this work perhaps my friends may have when I am in the silent grave, and which where ere they chance something, a kind remembrance. I can't read it. I can't read it. Let's see if it's on the back. Nope. I'd have to get out the pattern and take a look at it. It's not going to happen. God's Lovely Garden Samplers. So this is another 90s pattern. There's two of them in here that could easily be converted to non-90s colors and be just adorable. Another Sally Ann Designs. This is Red Roof Sampler. Little bitty red roof, but look at that little Cocker Spaniel. He's so cute. This is a Brenda Gervais. She snuck in here after all. Valentine Samplers. Look at all the little smalls here that are sampler-like. And the other one is Strawberry Hill Sampler. Same thing. Very sweet. Sampler-like. Look at that little. That'd be super easy. Strawberry scissor and needle keep. Little goodies that go in there. While the studio, not all samplers are you know, have little people on it. Sometimes they have a little witch. This is adorable. Oh, Tannenbaum, Stony Creek. Isn't that pretty? Green and Red. Song of the Needle, Just Nan. I think this is just, they framed it with lace around it. So it's just the inner part there that needs to be stitched. Another Brenda Gervais, the Noel Sampler. Several people have stitched this one. Marilee Bean, Friendship. That's sweet. And wouldn't that be a great small exchange gift right there? I love it. Another, I don't know what it is about swans. I like swans on my samplers. Traditional Wedding Sampler. That was pulled out of a magazine, and I bought it off eBay, and I didn't know it was pulled out of a magazine. I do like it, though. Faith by Samplers Not Forgotten. I think I love her stuff. Christmas in My Heart. Samplers Not Forgotten. Really pretty with the poinsettias that go up the side. Scarlet House, Sarah Elizabeth Brooke, 1842. That's a lot of green, but it's really very pretty. Anne Duncan, Samplers and Such. I didn't know I had so many samplers and such patterns. John Foster, 1885. Deborah Canopied Stitches was stitching this. This is gorgeous. Look at that. Happened to get a steal of a deal on eBay out with that. Leah Gronow, a Welsh folk art sampler, Merry Wind Farm. Isn't that pretty? All the red in there. Mary McAllister, 1824. I picked this up from Acorns and Threads in its Needlework Press, and it came out the year before. I really like the acanthus leaf sampler, or border around the outside of it. And that cow, holy cow, that's Paul Bunyan's cow. Christina Junor, 1834. Victorian Rose Needle Arts. I have done this to let you see what love and care my parents had for me. That's really pretty. and Elizabeth Neiman, R&R Reproductions. A brick house and a pink house in the same sampler. I wonder, you might call Dine to Stitch if you're interested in their stuff and see if you can pick it up from them if they still have copies of it. Homespun Sampler, The Governor's Palace, Williamsburg, Virginia. I got this off of eBay, and I bet my friend Lori would be interested in this one. Textilist. Milady's Needle, M. Woods, 1759. The blue on there is great. The name of this one is Samplers of the World, Perman of Copenhagen. I don't know if that's their, oh no, it's Sampler 1854. I think Michelle started this one, Michelle Bendy, in her No Starts preparation. So at the end of last year, I think she started this one. Oh, Christmas Tree. Michelle Rudy influenced me to buy this one. She saw it Spring Green, and there's a conversion for it there at, at Country Sampler. I'm getting tired, guys. This was a beautiful gift from a fellow stitcher, and I truly appreciated it because it's not around. This is a collaboration between Primitive Traditions, Hands to Work, Bright Needle, The Work Basket, Praiseworthy Stitches, Patricia Ann Designs, With My Needle, La-Di-Da, Prayer, A Stitch in a Prayer, Carriage House. Most Noble Pursuit. Very nice. Homespun Elegance. I thought it was Homespun Elegance. A Stitch or Two. It's very quaint. Samplers Not Forgotten. Black Cat, 1861. That one, I do like that a lot. And that is a horse and a dog on the bottom. A dog and a horse. But you definitely see that black cat pop off the page. Praiseworthy Stitches, Yellow House Sampler. That's a unique border, isn't it? Little House Needleworks, the Elizabeth Hancock Sampler. I would love to see this one stitched up. I have not seen it before. Sarah Stewart, 1798. This one has freehand embroidery stitching with these trees here. And I think that is something that may seem really intimidating to begin with, but as long as you sit down and read the directions, it should be okay. And all things be exceedingly diligent. This came out not this year, but the year before, and I bought it when it came out. It's a lot of people stitched it now. Needlework Press. It's a beautiful sampler, and I like horizontal samplers. Proud and True, Blue Ribbon Designs. More patriotic. Louisa Barney, 1892. Reflet de Soie. Isn't that beautiful? Well, I guess you can stitch this in DMC, but these are all of the DMC and Soie d'Auger. Oof. Purely Samplers, Homespun. It's so adorable. Guarnieri Sampler, Forget-Me-Nots in Stitches. Rosewood Manor. Oh, Golden Watercolor Butterfly. Really pretty. Pink Sparrow Sampler. My girl Lori Mischievous Stitches stitched this, and several other people are still stitching it now. That's by With My Needle. It's a reproduction by Brenda Gervais. West Wind Cross Stitch Designs. There's two of them that are Jane Austen quotes or from her books. It is a truth universal acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in need of a wife. Pride and Prejudice. A true friend is a found treasure. Isn't that pretty? The Wisdom Sampler. Again, this is a Vermilion Samplers. This one's on eBay, I think. Jean Farish. Sampler Treasury. I think that's what it's called. Oh, the Janet Irving Sampler. The Drawn Thread, The Good Neighbor. Are you tired yet? My arm's starting to hurt. Forgiveness, Exemplar Dames. Might find a used copy floating around. Sarah Stewart Hardman. This came out at market this year. 1824 by Needlework Press. I bet this is beautiful, stitched up. With My Needle, Ellen Chester, Acorn Sampler Sewing Case. Sorry, that's not a very good picture. Elizabeth Pritchard, 1843, R&R Reproductions. This is adorable. Midsummer Night Designs, The Flowers of Wine Garden. Lots of red on this one. With My Needle, Quaker Sampling 3. This is Ellen Chester, and this one is still being produced or is available, last I heard. That's Quaker Sampling 3. So she must have 1 and 2 also. I don't think I have it. Victorian Sampler by Donna Vermillion. Prize Your Liberty by Marilee Beams. This was gifted to me from a stitcher. I was on the hunt for this one. I think I'm going to have a patriotic wall at some point. Patriotic stitching. Like Vonna has her own room. Maybe I'll have a room of that. Quaker Alphabet by La Di Da. Isn't that color fantastic? She stitched that with Belle Soie, Creme de Menthe, or Noir. This is Shakespeare's Peddler, Ragamuffin 1, Anne Harrison. That windmill is amazing. Very Don Quixote-ish. The Sampler Company, Brenda Keyes. This is Symbolism. Oh, no, hold on, please. Over the Hills Sampler. Civil War-like, right? That's really cool. The Beatitudes by Little House Needleworks. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those that mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. So this is Matthew 5, Beatitudes. Susan Mix Reproduction Sampler. I think I got this at Stitchville in the clearance. Oh, it is. Yep, right on. The border and the birds on that one are awesome. Colors they're like a chartreuse color, those birds are. I don't know if this is going to focus or not. Hearts East Samplers, Stone House and the Brandywine. This is the first one of hers that I bought. I love this one. It says, oh, what stories if it could tell this old house of mine, a long-standing sentinel on the Brandywine, built strong of granite and of wood on verdant acres my stone house stood, with window sills so deep and wide and walls made thick on every side. Well, over the hill not far away, the Brandywine River did flow and play, afar to behold the strength of the two, the house and the river and the stories they knew. Gives me chills just reading that. And the Quaker motifs are so pretty. She's so talented. I'm telling you. This is Sojourner by Teresa Baird. The colors are phenomenal on her designs. Now, I will say this. Her designs are not inexpensive. They're beautiful. There are a lot of pages. They're well produced. And they're fantastic designs. I picked this one up, the Queen City Sampler, Cincinnati, Ohio. This came out at market this year. Just Nan, Common Ground. This is a kit. I picked it up. I think Lori Mischievous Stitches stitched this one, and other people have stitched it as well. Very, very pretty sampler. So she has a couple more. She has Belle Meade. This is Just Nan also. I think you can find it out in the secondary market. And there's another one that she has. I don't think I have it. The Rosary Sampler by GGR. This is beautiful. So pretty. GGR. I got this from the Attic Needlework. Maria Casson, 1822. This was released this year at market. It was Lucy Beams, I think. Yep. Design. Anne Rayner. I was fortunate enough to get this one, and it was actually Arlene Cohen's. Bought it from her. Good Shepherd Sampler, Margaret and Margaret. This is hanging on Saltbox Stitcher's wall, and she mentioned it, so I went and got it. I might update the colors, though, in that. I really like it. Abigail Colby's Work Basket Accessories. Oh, I do have another bag. I have some missing bags. They're around here somewhere. This one's in there. Her work basket's in there, and then these little needlefuls go inside the basket. Long Dog Quilts. I blame Juliet Reflections Framing and Stitching. This one, and I have the fabric. I just need to start it. Erica Michaels. Oh, Nancy Alden, 1795. Just Nan Winterhaven. Oh, here's another one of her house patterns. These come with beads, usually. Pretty. Hummingbird Heaven, Just Nan. Birds of a Feather, Happy Heart Sampler. Some of you are stitching this one too. Love the colors on that. Sampler Cove, Double Dutch. Mary Lang was stitching on this. So was, I think, Letitia stitching that. This came out of a magazine that I saw the other day. And this also, this colors could be updated, but that's really pretty. Chair Stitches, a September box. Look at this little, well, it's kind of a fussy looking finish, but it's pretty neat too. Anne Grant by Shakespeare's Peddler. This is, I bet this is, I'd like to see Teresa show this one on a video. Lucy Calcutt, 18, let's see which one came out first. I don't know if this one did, 1825. And this is by Just Stitching Along. And then the next year she came out with there's 1825 and 1826. So they're same designer. They look like sister stitchers. I think they are. Sally Ann Designs, Legacy Sampler. I like that border. Agnes Rowlandson, Carriage House. GGR Sampler, Frisian, 1750. The colors are beautiful, as are the designs. I'm a Quaker girl. Sheep may safely graze, Alice Smith, 1841. Victoria Rose Needle Arts. This is very densely stitched. The picture is the original, I believe, so it's hard to see, even if I took it out of the plastic, it would be hard to see. I'm going to say I got that one off of 1-2-3 Stitch. Elizabeth Simon, I got this one from Lenz and Madison, and the colors are great on this. Danny Forrester, The Scarlet Letter. Pink House and a Yellow House. Crown and Thistle, Quaker Season of Friendship. Jan Hicks has a stitch along, started with this one. Timeless Designs, Mary Hawken 1841 Sampler. I like it. Aeneas Curvier for a Flight of Soie. Aeneas Curvier 1896. I'm not sure if the colors are this vibrant. I sure hope they are when I get to stitch this one. It's gorgeous. Amena House, Samplers Remember. A lot of times samplers have a tinge of blue, not much, but this one does have more blue in it. Scarlet Houses came out this year, A Perfect World. Love the contrast of this one. Checkerboard grass makes me happy. Théa Gouverneur. This one I plan to stitch this and convert the colors. I don't see myself stitching the rest of it. Teresa Baird, I know it's a surprise, right? The Dianthus Sampler. Look at that butterfly. Primitive Hair, Samplers Maker. Not Sampler Maker, or just Samplers Maker. Needlebook. GGR, Sampler from Saxony. With a big huge lion and a big huge bird, couple birds. DMC, this came out of a magazine. DMC 200th Anniversary Sampler. I really like this. Change the colors, take the words DMC to 50 years out, and it's a really great design. All right, we're at the last stage. I picked up Anne Grimshaw. This is Grimshaw. This is a recent purchase. The Scarlet Letter. I saw this one. I love this. A flame stitch sampler. The colors are amazing in this. And then I've kind of been on a band sampler kick. Rachel Jarrett, The Scarlet Letter. It's really pretty. Dorothy Warpole, Scarlet Letter. Okay, that's my sampler stash for designs that are full size like this. I do have, like, I'm looking at one right here that is Stacy Nash, Mary Bears. It's half, right? Half size. So I do have some more that are not full size, but that's enough for today. I hope you enjoyed the stash flash. It's not for everyone. I know that. And I think about the girls who stitched by candlelight that were 9, 10, and 11 years old. And I'm always, always surprised and amazed at what children can do when, you know, there's some discipline in their life. So have a great weekend, rest of the weekend, and I will see you all next time. Thank you very much for watching my video. Have a good one.